So thank you very much, Lisa. Um, so as Lisa said, and as you've heard through the day, I've had this in my right leg since the 80s. And it was after having, I was in college and I had bad varicose veins. And I had my veins stripped in my right leg. It's the old-fashioned way. If you've had it recently done, it's not the same. It's not the same surgery. Don't worry about it. But I had varicose veins removed in my right leg in '79, and somewhere in the later '80s, started having swelling. So it wasn't diagnosed for several years, and then I didn't get any kind of treatment until I sought out Denise McIntosh. I found her up on the North Shore late in like 2009 or something. So it was like 20 years later. So here I am, and as Lisa said, she and I are the chapter chairs. So I want to talk about LE&RN and what it has meant for us and all of us in our chapter to support each other, and how we've used it as a method to educate the communities and the communities around the country and around the world. Okay, so that didn't work. Okay, so let's just talk about let me ask Bill. Bill, when did you start with LE&RN, Bill?
7.5 years ago.
Okay, what? All right, 2012. Okay, so in 2014, the number of LE&RN chapters in 2014, let's see, 0. Okay, so that wasn't too long ago. And in 2019, we have 12. So we have done a lot of work. Bill has done a lot of work in those short years that you've been with LE&RN. The first 2 chapters, I understand, started in 2015, and that was California and New York. I met Bill at a walk 2.5 years ago, and I've been running from him ever since. He saw some potential that I might be helping out, and I guess he was right. So the most recent, so I just learned yesterday, actually, that there's going to be some news coming out because Pennsylvania and Alabama will be joining and starting their own chapters, actually, soon. Which is terrific. Not only are there state chapters, but there are also international chapters. There are a total of 10 international chapters. These are some of the, on this slide here, the one down on the lower right-hand is for Europe, and that is based out of Switzerland. It's kind of the home base for the European one. The one on the far right is the flag of Taiwan, and then you can see the Canadian maple leaf there. But Tanzania, Australia, India, and then we get to Israel, Egypt, the Sudan, and then the country of Qatar. There's also interest in a couple of other countries. Has shown some interest, and that's Romania, Zimbabwe, and Iran. So if you build it, they will come, and it is amazing when you create a community of people just like us. And look, I mean, it's amazing. I was just talking to Ellen, who we met at our first meeting, Lisa, right? At MGH a couple of years ago. Ellen is a primary lymphedema woman here with us who was diagnosed in the 50s. Is that right, Ellen? Yeah, in the 50s. And we were talking earlier at the break about, I started with my swelling in the 80s, and I lived in a vacuum for years. And I'm in healthcare. I mean, and I didn't know anybody else with this disease, except I'd see a patient come through every once in a while, but I didn't ever share anything about my own problem. And Ellen's the same thing. You know, we've lived isolated, all of us. So in 2 years, to see a sold-out crowd like this is amazing. And now we're creating this community across borders, and there's no walls between those borders. And it's just fantastic what's happening. And it's because these chapters, it's because of LE&RN and because of what Bill and his team and Pam and Colleen have done. I mean, there's no two ways about it. So World Lymphedema Day is something that the LE&RN group has created. That's March 6th. And throughout this, I just got through the internet, and if you follow, so for LE&RN, to be a part of LE&RN, you know, obviously there's this website is just an incredible volume of information and opportunity there for learning. And they have a speaker series, Symposium series there that is free, and it's wonderful experts on there doing lectures monthly. But membership is a very small amount of money, but you get so much back for that. And they've created this World Lymphedema Day. What we do here in Boston, and I know that there are people here from throughout the country, what we do in this corner, left-hand corner here, is Lisa and I, as a nurse at Mass General, I put a table out every year, the last 4 years now, in the main lobby. It's an educational table for every day, every March 6th. And I think the first year we had probably 40 people stop by, and 15 of them had lymphedema. I mean, they were literally walking past the table saying, "Oh my God, lymphedema, you know, who are you? Who are you people?" You know, so and then we had physicians. So it's one of those things, if you start talking about it, you recognize that people are listening. People, little children in Bosnia, people in Switzerland. The lower right-hand corner is from the chapter in Hawaii. And they went on World Lymphedema Day and had their legislation, state legislature, recognize March 6th as World Lymphedema Day. So then we have, as Bill mentioned, Emma DETLEFSON. Stand again. Okay. Yes. She is an amazing person, as well as her mom, and Tiffany. And Emma's best friend, or I should say Kathy Bates' best friend, is Emma. And Kathy Bates has dedicated her star on the Walk of Fame to Emma, actually. Yep. So Emma is a voice, and a voice for LE&RN, and has done amazing things that we should all, she should be a mentor for all of us in this fight. So there are a lot, that slide was supposed to be deleted, so I'm going to move right along. Oh, well, there you go. Yep. Oh, well, here, okay. So this is just examples of community opportunities. What we talk about in our chapter meetings, which I'll talk briefly about, is we try to brainstorm. How can we impact the community? Think about what you do in your lives with your kids. Kids have science fairs at school. So this is an example I read online. One of our chapter chairs out in the Midwest, her children every year for their science fair, their project is lymphedema. And it gets all the kids talking, and it gets the parents talking, and then somebody does a talk at their health club. You know, they go up and talk to the management and say, you know, I'd like to have a table, you know, on such and such a date. Is that okay? Oh yeah, that's great. You know, it's all women's classes, breast cancer. So you start thinking of opportunities for awareness and teaching. a lot of LE&RN chapters, and is something that we need to start thinking about locally, is they put up a table at a breast cancer walk. So I think that's something that we need to think about locally. And then every year for lobby days, we need to think about going down to DC and being a part of having a voice down there. And this is also, Maura, this is the Live Strong program at the YMCA, which is a great program. So this is Tim Padera and Lisa and I down with Bill Rapisi down on Capitol Hill last year with Kathy Bates, and it was just a great, a really great experience. So we, as I think it was Dr. Singhal mentioned, this past May we had our first walk, and we were hoping to raise 10,000, and we raised close to 30. So it was spectacular. And this was a group shot of us at the end. But we are planning for our next walk next spring. Our next chapter meeting is November 2nd. We meet, for our group, it's a state chapter. Right now, we're based out of Boston. We would love some representation out in the Berkshires as well as down the Cape or wherever else. If there's, I've already talked to some folks that live down on the Cape, or we're going to try to branch out and have a meeting down there. But we're here, and we'd love to put you on our distribution list, our email list. We know how to reach you now. But we have a distribution list of almost 200 people, and we started 2 years ago with 10. So we know we're out there. We just have to find everybody. Okay? So thank you so much.